What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, doing this one today in response to several articles. Starting over and gaining financial freedom in 4 years. Now, many of the articles you're seeing are saying, well, it's going to take 20 years for you to get out of poverty. It's going to take 15 years and no hiccups. And a lot of times I really think people are just honestly bad at math. They have these percentages, and like if you read the book Bait and Switch, everybody just is poor forever. But if you actually read some of these books, Bait and Switch, and a lot of them talking about poverty in America, 99% of the time it is bad personal choices. Yes, do people have car accidents? Yes, do people have accidents at work? Do things happen to people? Yes. But 99% of the time it is personal choices and timing. Now, maybe people say, well, Erica, these people had a baby and they had to do this. No. There's a lot of birth control out there. And I'm not talking about abortion because I don't believe in abortion. I'm talking about there's a lot of personal responsibility failures. And there's a video of this woman. She works at McDonald's and she's like 21 years old. She has a baby and the father's in prison. And it's like, I bet money over 50 to 100 people told you don't have no babies and told you to go to school. So you're 21, no community college, no school, no trade, with this baby, and want McDonald's to pay you $15 an hour. Honey, that's just not gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen, honey. It's just really not. So what I've learned from most of the videos and most of the studies that I'm seeing is a lot of it's personal choice. Now, many people say, well, Erica, I live in an area, they don't pay a high income. There's always someone with a trade being paid more. Point blank period. If you live in an area and there's nothing but you for truck driving jobs, guess what? Be a truck driver, get you some money for a year, and then go do something else. And many people say, well, it's not that easy. Well, it is. What happens is you become the truck driver, you get a new car, you get a new place, you fill it up with furniture and TVs and nice stuff, so when you do come home off the road, you enjoy yourself, and then you're in the debt cycle. So let's keep it 100. Again, it is personal choices and math. Okay? So again, part of the reason I wrote Smart Mom Millionaire is because of that. Because people were making money but didn't know where to put it. So money was finding places to be, which wasn't in their pocket. So back to our original point is starting over. If I had to start over, let's say something happened, which, sorry, we're on a raggedy road, part of raggedy road here. Start over, completely start over scratch. I would be working 2 jobs. Like, let's say I had less skills and certs than I have right now, but I'd be working 2 jobs. I would be, and I don't have kids. And so I would be finding, while I'm working those 2 jobs, I would be updating my stuff on LinkedIn, for 1. For 2, I would be going to networking events when I had the chance, at least once a week, because 80% of all jobs come via network, who you know, not what you know, but who you know, and your referral. Internal referrals. I've been to churches where guy just like, you seem like a great girl, you should have this kind of job, you should come in for an interview. Didn't know me from Adam, did not know me from Adam, but willing to give me this interview because we just all attend the same type of church. So I think it's really important for you guys to make community. And when I say make community, I mean go visit people, go, and don't ask them right when you lose your job and blow them up in the email like, hey, I want to meet with you. Hey, I want to meet with you. People know that technique. They know when people are just hitting them up because something just happened to them. And that's annoying. So don't do that. Your key here is, this is a long-term strategy. You should be once in a month, once every 2 months, messaging people, contacting people, going to networking events so that you have the opportunity when something arises to send an email and it doesn't seem like, well, I haven't heard from this person in 3 years. Now, many of you are going to say, well, Erica, I've got a life, I've got kids, I've got a wife, I got stuff I'm trying to do. I can't be messaging people all week. Well, that's why email apps like Constant Contact and other ones are great, because they'll send the email messages for you. You don't have to be doing all this personal emailing, but you should be touching base with people so that when they hear from you, it's like, they must want something. That's why little people get mad with MLM stuff. They're like, oh, let's go to dinner. And people desire community, but you're only calling them because you're trying to get something from them. And they've taught you the wrong way to do things. Period. So, first of all, in the whole starting over, get you a sheet of paper, write out 150 names of people you know, and write out their jobs. And see what you come up with. Now, I'm going to say this, and you may be offended. If a bulk of those names are your family members, just take them off the list. Who do you know outside of your family that could help you in your career? Who do you just personally know? Okay. Number 2, when it's balls to the wall time, we take any job. We don't just say, well, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't fit my personality. And I've seen many people in their 50s go, well, I'm not going to do that. That's going backwards. I'm worth this much, or I'm worth that much. Are you? Because if you are, you wouldn't be in this position. Let's just keep it 100. Okay? So all in that order, you'd be working. You'd be having a lot of hours working. 2, you'd be fixing up your LinkedIn. You'd also be updating your contact email list. You'd be emailing people, seeing where they are, what office work they're in. Because I'm sorry, if you're over 45, getting into corporate America starts to get very, 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 very hard. Because some of your older friends are trying to keep their job and may not refer you. And also, ageism comes in, where you've been getting paid $70,000, $80,000 your whole life, and they don't have anybody on their staff making over $50,000 a year. So there's some challenges in there. Now, number 3, I would get a job recruiter. If you're in some position, you're like, Eric, I just hate it here every day and night, but I need to work, I need to get the income up, or I need to DoorDash, or I need to Uber, all this stuff in the afternoons just to get the income up. Great, do that. But also use the job recruiter to let them find you places, because it's easier for you to explain 2 to 8 months of not being in corporate America. When you're out of corporate America, a year, 2, 3 years, 4 years, which I've seen people do, and then try to go back, that's a hard explanation. Now, you can always say, well, my kids, or this, or marriage, or life. But 9 times out of 10, when people disappear out of a certain level of jobs, it's hard to get back into them. It's very hard. Also, if you think about it, your daily clothes, how you wear, how you dress. If you start working in a more blue-collar sector, you probably don't even have any white-collar clothes. To even go in office, you'd have to go into debt to go buy some clothes to go to work with every week. So I've seen this in some ladies that were older, 40s and 50s, and they were doing temp work, and they had been temping for 2, 3, 4 years. And I was like, oh, nobody's hiring you? Usually you temp about 2 or 3, 4 places, and they go, yeah, come on in. But it happens, right? Here in Austin, they've got a lot of, like Dale has a 6 to 9 months gig where you kind of are a right to work employee, of course, which is Texas, but you're there 6 to 9 months. They do kind of a review, and then if they have to, they let you go if it doesn't fit, right? So that gave you 6 to 9 months to be in corporate America, and also while you're there, finding out other companies, other white collar temp companies, other companies that you could work with. I mean, I know this sounds like you're working all day and night trying to, get a job and keep a job, but that's essentially what it is. When you start putting the effort and energy into corporate America or being in someone else's system, you kind of have to work really hard to stay in the system and to stay ahead and have your options available. There's a great video, I'll probably try to link it up here, and it talks about a woman, she's 55 years old and faking it or something. That's how they titled it. Essentially, she lost a corporate job because she wanted to start a business, and she didn't have a good business model. And what ended up happening is she went all in, spent all her reserves, her cash reserves, and so now she's broke. Only thing keeping her afloat is this man that's kind of like her boyfriend, but not. He like gives her money. It was weird. But she also has this Georgetown condo, and the appreciation is going up so crazy, so fast in the DC area. She's been able to take home HELOC loans. The sad part about her story, though, her being 55, is she's living off the HELOC loans instead of taking that HELOC loan and investing it into anything. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, she could have took a HELOC loan at, probably $50,000 or $60,000, bought somewhere on the outskirts cheaper, and moved and reduced her lifestyle so that she wouldn't need such an expensive, job or expensive clothes or anything. But she's done it all. She's had roommates. She's done it all. And so it's like choices have led her there. Now, what's funny under the comments, some men are like, well, she could have got married. And I was laughing because I'm like, not everybody can. But they can. I mean, it just depends, right? So a lot of men, that was their comment. She should have got married to somebody, But at the end of the day, you still have to make good choices, even if you marry somebody. So, again, with the starting over, once I've got the job or multiple jobs and I'm pushing really hard, I would have the Mint app tracking what my income was, what my real debts are. I would have somewhere for the money to go other than the 401k the company offered, which is why I talk about it for a Smartphone Millionaire book, I'd have at least 2 places. I'd have it monthly dividend stocks and peer-to-peer lending. I just think those are powerful tools for the future. The crowdfunding sites for real estate, it's just where else can you buy into real estate at $500 and $1,000 and get 12% returns? Between that, crowdfunding, and tax liens, you're winning all day. The key here is you're always putting money away. And honestly, in a 4-year time period, if you're putting $200 to $500 away every month, your life financially is completely different from your friends. Because the bulk of Americans don't have any money. The bulk of Americans are not doing well. The bulk of Americans have no savings, no retirement plan. So when I talk to you about, just save $100 a month, that's $1,000 a year. And that's $4,000 after 4 or 5 years. To you or me are like, $4,000, Erica, that's not a lot. You or me both know that's more than a lot of people have. And I'm being really honest. Now let's say we hype that up. Instead of just $100 a month, we go, we do $100 a week, right? We do $100 a week. And you saw when I did that video about Stash Invest, if you're putting $100 a week with very basic returns at 5%, in 4 years, you got a nice chunk of change, So I'm just saying, it's just doing the math, turning it up, right? So instead of $4,000 in 4 years, you're going to have $13,000 in 4 years. If you're just doing from $100 a month to $100 a week. And this is a game you could have with yourself. And you have to kind of keep pushing it. Because at the end of the day, like many people, I keep telling you guys, if you and your spouse or just you buy one house a year, let's say every other year over the span of 10 years, you'd be ahead of millions of Americans. If you had 5 rental properties, you're ahead of millions of Americans. There's a lot of turnkey companies. There's a lot of different options. And there's a show called Old Dogs Network. And it's literally Old, D-A-W-G, Dogs Network. And it's talking about people in their 50s and 60s getting to retirement and realizing they, 1, don't have enough. 2, the income is not really useful how it should be. 3, this isn't going to work. Or, you know what I mean? Like, they have adult children or different issues that are causing them to have to go back to work or rethink their retirement. And a lot of them go, oh, real estate. Boom. I have not 1 but 2 aunts who had big $250,000 retirement packages, severance packages, and they still were like, well, I'm not really ready to go home. I'm not really ready to go home. And I'm like, keep working. Put that money over here or put that money into real estate and keep working. Because I think you're going to see a lot of people working to their 70s and 80s. But I don't want you working to your 70s and 80s if you don't want to. That's the key. Having the choice to not if you don't want to is the key. Being able to leave. Retirement is a number, not an age. Again, I keep telling you on the channel, several people I know who have 1 or 2 or 3 rental properties, and their life is much more relaxed than most people I know. They're doing a lot more chilling and a lot more traveling. But it's choices. It's choices. When things are hard, do you make the hard choices? So, again, it's a math problem, not necessarily a life problem. Like, oh, you're going to be kept in poverty your whole life. I read about this one lady who's a real estate investor, and her sister's son, and she has multiple siblings, got arrested. So she put up, $200 to get the kid out on bail. And she said her sister didn't even have $200. It was like $150 or $200 once the fees were done to the magistrate. Now imagine that kid's life. His mom doesn't even have $200 to get him out of jail as a 16-year-old. Where is his future going? There's a lot of people in our economy who petty crimes, what I call petty poor people crimes, that are going to mess them up for life. And you have to be smart enough to go, I'm going to have to work to get around that. I don't want you to be in fear, but I want you to realize you're going to have to work to get around that. If you're in a $10 to $12 an hour job and you're complaining about wanting to get a raise and you're at McDonald's, no, honey, that's not how that works. You need to go get a trade, get a skill, get a new job. These jobs are for transient people. These jobs are for kids. These jobs are people who want to do part-time work. These are never meant to be long-term jobs. And there's a lot of jobs in our company that are never meant to be long-term jobs. I saw the thing about Toys R Us saying there's no pension for the people. And I'm like, it's Toys R Us. It's a retail job. Some of the managers should have some kind of pension, but overall, no. It's a retail job. Sorry. It's just not that type of job that you're going to walk away with some kind of a rainbow pension. It's just not happening. And so many of you will say, well, Erica, I'm going to start a business. If you're not stabilized, and let's be really honest, if you're like, about to lose your apartment, about to lose your house, about to lose your car. I'm being really honest with you right now. The best thing you can do is work. And get cash up to get yourself stabilized. And what does stabilize mean? Stabilize means your own place, your own car, keeping your payments under control, no crazy debt, do not file for bankruptcy. And if you can, then you spend an hour every afternoon working on your side business. But you don't quit your job for it. You don't throw everything to the wind for it. I'm being really honest. So if you're starting over, and even if you have this burning desire to do this business, unless it's something like a service business where you say, Erica, I'm going to go cut grass all day and have a little tablet and they can swipe their debit card and be done. And there's cash going into your bank every single day. Or you're going to go haul junk and take it to the recycling place and get paid every day. Or you're going to do yard sales and stuff like that, every day. There's very few things where outside of a service business, I would tell you to go ahead and do it. And when I mean service business, I mean like you are knocking doors, you are proactive, you are doing something every day and cash is coming out. If you do not have that type of thing, if it's a blog or online sales or something that you can work on the side and still work, you need to still work. Just point blank being sure. Because 9 times out of 10, many people, what you're trying to do is free traffic, free SEO, free ads, free all this stuff. And there's a limit to everyone's business, even my own, where free just doesn't work. You're going to have to do more than free. You're going to have to put $300 to $1,000 into ads every month. Whether that's bandit signs, whether that's magnets on the car, whether that's actual paying guys to hand out flyers, whatever it is, at some point you have to pay. And many people think, well, I'm going to start this business and I'm going to talk about it every day on Facebook. Your friends don't care. They're not your target clients. Strangers are most likely your target audience. And people really hate hearing that. They really hate hearing that. But that's just the truth. So, in that whole system I just talked to you about, starting over, it's getting a lot of work under your belt, getting your income up to $5,000 a month minimum. And people in bigger states, I'd say $7,000. Bigger cities, I meant. And then also taking $100 a month to start, but I'd prefer you do $100 a week and start investing that. And in 4 years, your life will be completely different. Just completely different. People are like, well, hiccups and emergencies happen. And like, a lot of times I look at people's life, I'm like, well, first of all, cut out all this eating out. Just cook at home. Crock pot living for you, boo. Sandwich life for you. No new cell phones for you. No new laptops for you. No trips for you. Kind of life for a year or two. I know people right now who are in $100,000 student loan debt and they're traveling every month. And they're just kind of like, well, it's there. It's there to get rid of maybe in the future. And it's like, baby, you're in a fire. You're in a fire, baby. So, again, it's like ladder your income. And I wrote a little ebook on that, but it's like ladder your income. You're laddering yourself to freedom. You're trying to get out of your bad situation, but it's going to take push, energy, focus. And if you want to start a business, sure, but on the side. There's just too many people here in Austin living in the hotels here from their passion. They wanted to live their passion. They were a musician. And Glennon just did a video, and I wish I could link it here. Probably can't. Where he talks about if you're a man, you need to live alone for at least 2 to 5 years. 2 to 5 years, because then you'll get that feeling of chest poked out pride, living on your own, doing your own thing, having your own schedule. And many people don't have that. Many people are forced into these living situations where they got to be nice, or they got to be contrite, or they got to do something, and it's not comfortable. You see so many people saying, why don't people just live with their family and they all work together and get out of poverty together? And I'm like, honey, stop. Because if you all got a big giant house and every family member lived in it, there'd still be 1 or 2 family members who'd be lazy. I do believe that living on your own provides you a sense of responsibility, a sense of respect. And there's an article I'm going to do a separate video on about how middle-class kids become poor adults in the future. And it's all about investments, baby. So anyway, you guys, this is Erica, Classy Climb Blog. If you're starting over, hey, assess where you are. What is the monthly income you need to make it? Do not file bankruptcy. One of the worst things you can do. And I did a previous video talking about that. Also, network with people. It's one of the best things you can do. You know, no man is an island. If you don't know anybody, in high income jobs, I'm very blessed and lucky to know that I know several people in 6-figure jobs. And it's not like just 1 or 2, it's like 20. And it's all about your environment. Who are you surrounding yourself with? It's very important. So everybody, this is Erica, Classic Line Blog. Later.